Hello, Lions. My name is Angela Superna, and I manage the Programs and Service Initiatives Department here at Lions Club's International Headquarters. It is a pleasure to be speaking to you today from International President Yamada's office. Every October, Lions all over the world focus their efforts on blindness prevention and awareness activities, and also sight restoring activities for those who have gone needlessly blind. This has been one of Lions' long-standing service commitments, dating even farther back than 1925, when Helen Keller officially asked Lions to become Knights of the Blind. If you're interested in learning more about Lions' historical work in blindness prevention, I encourage you to visit the lions100.org website, where you will find the newest Centennial video titled Knights of the Blind. It's a fascinating look at how Lions' work has evolved over the past 100 years. You may be wondering, if Lions have been working for so long in awareness-raising activities and sight-restoring efforts, is there really still a need? My response to you is absolutely. According to the World Health Organization, there are 285 million people worldwide who have a visual impairment. 39 million people are blind, and 246 million people are visually impaired. 90% of the world's visually impaired live in low-income situations, and the majority of their impairment is due to uncorrected refractive error, unoperated cataract, and glaucoma. Don't become discouraged by these numbers. There's good news. 80% of visual impairment can be prevented or cured. Lions have a really important role in this ongoing crusade against darkness, and the Centennial Service Challenge is your call to action. Whether you plan school vision screening in partnership with your local eye care providers, offer maintenance services to a nearby vocational school for the blind and visually impaired, or make an unrestricted donation to Lions Club's International Foundation, you can do something to improve the life of someone and help us lower those global numbers. We're currently in President Yamada's year, and Lions have already reported 11,000 activities in the Sharing the Vision campaign, which have benefited 1 million people. When we look at the cumulative Centennial Service Challenge data, which started back on July 1st, 2014, we have reached 70,000 activities that have benefited 8 million people. We are still a really long way away from the Centennial Service Challenge goal of sharing the vision with 25 million people. But again, there are so many simple activities that you can engage in that can make a difference not only locally, but also globally. The lions100.org website and the LCI Association website have a lot of different resources to help you get started in planning your activities. And LCI staff is here to help you. We're just a phone call or an email away to answer any of your questions or help you brainstorm different ideas. As a matter of fact, I'd be happy to take any questions that you might have right now.
So far, no questions.
No questions.
So let's give them a minute.
Okay.
Can you, off the top of your head, maybe give some examples of the simple ways that they can perform activities that you referred to just while we're waiting here?
Sure. I think one of the first things that you can do is probably talk to family members and friends and see if they have had a yearly eye exam, especially if they are 50 years or older. Some of the ongoing age-related diseases and conditions aren't necessarily identified until you're in your 40s and 50s, so it's really important that you get a yearly eye exam. Diabetic retinopathy, for example, is a condition that is the later stages, an indication of the later stages of type 2 diabetes. And 50% of diabetics don't know that they have diabetes and oftentimes don't find out until they're diagnosed with diabetic retinopathy. So it's really important as part of your ongoing preventative healthcare that you get those yearly eye exams. That's just a simple way, engaging in conversation with your friends and family and fellow Lions Clubs members that you can make a difference in the life of someone.
Well, you did really good for off the cuff.
Oh, thanks. Any other questions come in?
There's still no questions here. So Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Sure.
As far as site or any of the other programs your department's working on?
Yeah, there is something that, again, is related to the Sharing the Vision campaign for the Centennial Service Challenge. And that is, how do we actually report the number of people that we are benefiting? That's a really hard thing to do. And a lot of times reporting and interpretation of how to report is a very gray area. But with the Sharing the Vision campaign in particular, it's very important that we only report the actual numbers of people that have benefited. So it's very tempting to say, if someone arrives to your screening clinic and you diagnose a young child or find that a young child might have a visual impairment, that you would count the whole entire family as benefiting, and indeed they are benefiting. But those global numbers that I identified earlier from the World Health Organization, they don't take into account all of those extra people. So the only way that we can really show the effect that Lions have had is if we restrain ourselves as much as possible and truly only report those numbers that we can verify. So it would be wonderful if Lions could help us out with that.
I do have a question from Lions Sally. What are some funding opportunities for Lions seeking to participate in vision screening?
Great. Thank you, Lions Sally. That's an excellent question. Lions Club's International Foundation has a few different funding opportunities. There is the Sight First grant program, which you can identify or contact Lions Club's International Foundation for more information on that. But they provide funding for larger scale projects that happen more often on the district level. Several clubs partner together, usually with other organizations or ministries of health, to implement large-scale sustainable projects in the areas of cataract, diabetic retinopathy, uncorrected refractive error, services for people with low vision, and various other areas. There's also the humanitarian grants program, and those can be slightly smaller scale projects where you can do various things. Again, you can purchase equipment, make improvements to existing facilities, and various other activities. But the Lions Club's International Foundation is really a wonderful way to receive funding for your projects, because all of those dollars are coming from your fellow Lions so that you can invest back into your community.
If anybody else has any questions, we'll give you about 30 seconds to ask them, and Angela will be glad to answer them for you. Otherwise, this will wrap up our live stream for today. I thank Angela for joining us and taking the reins and doing this for us. She was our first guest as a live streaming participant. I am not seeing any other questions, so I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. There will be a video of this online almost immediately after we stop the live stream, so you can review what Angela has said during her presentation. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.